Hey, how's it going, folks? It's Joel Elton with Pinnacle Mountain Gunsmithing. I have for you a special treat today. We're going to be taking a look at one of my favorite target 22s of all time, the Smith and Wesson 22 Victory. Let's go ahead and get into it. All right, here we are. Well, this is my Smith and Wesson 22 Victory. It is in 22 long rifle, 10 shots. Very nice target pistol. I've, of course, added on a few things over the years. This is also the Performance Center variant. So, yeah, there's a few extra little touches. For one, it says Performance Center on the side. Also has a flat face trigger. And it came with tandem cross grips and a compensator. Not this one, but a different one. I've pretty much drug this thing through the tandem cross catalog, but like I said, it's still one of my favorite target pistols. Right now it's set up for open sights. It can be set up with a red dot, of course, but or other optic, whichever you choose. The sight is removable by this one screw right here, and you can pop on a pick rail or whatever else you want. I also have on here a little halo grip from Tandem Cross. And it's something I really like about it is that the whole side of it is enclosed except for the ejection port. I've also equipped this particular one with a extended safety on the side. I like to use that as a little thumb rest. Makes it very comfortable when shooting. I'm thinking about also putting a little gas pedal, quote, gas pedal, right about here for my support hand, but I don't know. In any case, I'll show you how this one comes apart. Takedown is pretty much with this one hex-headed bolt here. And as you saw when I drew back the bolt, it is unloaded, of course, as is tradition on this particular bench. Just take out said bolt, got a little Loctite patch on there, and the barrel front comes off, and with a little bit of fiddling and wiggling, the back end of it comes off too. And now the bolt just comes right out. That's the whole reciprocating mass and recoil spring, everything. The recoil spring abuts against this little nylon piece back here. That also includes the safety, the hammer, the bolt stop, and trigger and all that. The compensator, of course, unscrews. Just standard 1/2x28. This one's particularly nice because it's a little directional. I usually take that off for bullseye competition just because it improves my scores by about 10% or so. A little O-ring. And yeah, the barrel's pretty much just solid stainless steel. There is literally no way I can flex this thing, not with just my hands. But the barrel also, this is really all you need to do to clean it. But I also like to take the barrel off just for ease of cleaning. I just loosen this little set screw here, and the barrel comes right off. As you can see, it's got a little dimple, and of course it's shaped so that you can't really get it backwards. The ejector is also inside the housing here. Over the years, I have had a little bit of trouble with it, with weak ejection. It's spot welded into the receiver, but I just had to bend that ejector a little bit outwards, just so it would be a little more forceful. Yeah, the barrel is just, it's solid stainless steel. I mean, this gun is about the same size and weight. It's a little bigger and as heavy as a typical 1911, but it only shoots 22, so Yeah, this is very much a competition or target gun, not at all a concealed carry piece. We can take a little bit closer look at the bolt here, and I can show you how that comes apart. The recoil spring is actually pretty easy. I can just take a little punch here and shove the back end of it out there, and it'll come out the top here. Making sure that I catch it before it comes off. Little bolt and guide rod, pretty easy. See, next I can take out the extractor, which there's a little tiny ledge on this little plunger, and that I can use to hold back and kind of just dump the extractor out. Boop, there's the extractor, and making sure to ease pressure off of the plunger and spring. There's the plunger, and it comes right out of that channel, and there's the spring. I always like to, when I'm taking things like this apart, I usually like to keep functional groups together. Let's see, there's kind of a neat little block in here that holds the firing pin, and it pretty much just comes out by a little push from the underside to this upper side, and that whole plastic block comes out. And that's the firing pin. It's got a little bitty slot in it, just to limit its motion. And you can see a little bit of a plunger and spring in there. Of course, it's not the same plunger and spring as is in the extractor. Try not to get those two confused if you're ever taking these apart. Alright. We can push on that, and a little light pressure, and the retaining pin for the firing pin comes right out. Firing pin right there. That sometimes gets gummed up a little bit when you're shooting this thing a lot, because 22 is nasty. And take my little poker and poke that out. Boom. Lots of tiny little parts on this pistol, but it's not for concealed carry. This is for competition and target shooting. And besides the halo, that's pretty much all the parts in the bolt. And that's it. That's the whole upper assembly. The receiver also has this big trunnion. It's also welded into the aluminum housing. That's pretty much it. That holds the set screw for the barrel, and just the barrel indexing piece is also contiguous with a tiny little feed ramp right there. Something I have noticed about this particular chamber, I don't know if you can see that terribly well. This light, adjust that. Ah, okay, it's a little better. But yeah, right under here, it's a little bit undercut. Yeah, there we go. There's the focus. It's a little bit undercut. My brass, I'll notice it sometimes has a little bit of a bulge right in front of the rim, and that I think is from that little undercut. I think that really helps feeding of this particular firearm. And yeah, I don't really care about how reloadable the brass is, because it's 22. You're not reloading it anyways. But yeah, I'd rather have it. I was a little worried about it for a long time, but I think my fears were unwarranted. Alright, moving on to the rest of the frame assembly. We can take off the grip panels, and yes, these are replacements, but I find the G10 works pretty well for me. I'm not going to be taking it all the way apart, just want to show you some of the mechanism, because I think it's pretty neat. The grip panel on the left side also is what holds in the mechanism for the magazine catch. Just taking off these 4 screws. And these screws are just threaded into plastic, so don't over tighten them. And there's absolutely no reason to gorilla these things down. If it gets a little loose, just give it a little scritch with your Allen wrench. It's not a big deal. Yeah, there we go. Turning that. So under a little bit of spring tension that I can feel just for that big extended magazine release. Yeah, there we are. As you can see, with that grip out of the way, this grip should be falling out of the way, but not sure what's holding it up. There we go. Hang on, stand by. Oops, sorry for the interruption there. I forgot I had to unscrew the front of the extended magazine release, and that allows me to take off the actual magazine catch and its associated spring, which, if you're not careful, if you take off the right side grip panel, it just kind of falls out. Yeah. Alright, here we go. Once you take off the right side grip panel, the slide stop just kind of falls off, and you'll notice it has just a little wire spring. A little bitty end of that fits into that little hole right here. Yeah, right here. That's where that fits. And from here you can also see the safety and its spring. And that just holds it in either on or off. Yep. Little bimodal safety spring there. Let's see. Oh, I did misspeak a little earlier. There is a little bit of a bushing for the grips. The upper one up here is into the aluminum of the frame itself. The lower one is a little brass bushing that's in the plastic of the lower grip. And the lower grip itself it's pretty basic. It's way thinner than the grips would suggest. You also have your trigger mechanism. Oh, out here on this side, that is the magazine safety. Just a little nub at the base pad that just pushes that up and allows the trigger bar to, yeah, if you can see inside there. Yeah, that allows the trigger bar to come into contact with the sear, which is back here. But yeah, I can show you some of those parts when I knock out these 2 roll pins, and I can take off the grip frame. Not sure I'm actually going to do that today though, but if you own one of these pistols, it's pretty easy to take apart and to service it yourself and to really get to know your pistol. But yeah, it's you can replace parts, you can upgrade features, you can change out the trigger, you can do all kinds of things. All right, let me put this back together, and I'll share with you some thoughts at the end, and we'll see where we go from there. Stand by. Hey folks, just a few quick reassembly notes. Remember that one set screw right there? Yeah, it's possible for this screw to loosen while the pistol is firing. I have had that happen to me once in a match, and to the point where I could the barrel was still affixed to the frame tightly, but the receiver, I could just kind of twist it around, which of course, yeah, that resulted in me missing a few targets there, just because the rear sight and front sight were on 2 separate pieces. Generally that works in my favor, having them that far apart, just for maximum sight radius. That does help you in aiming, and getting the right, a good sight picture. Let's see, in reassembling this, it's important to also kind of get this big plastic buffer right here, and this boss aligned. See that big round boss? That goes into this little cavity. And a little bit of, not that much. Everything's harder on camera. Yeah, got to get those, the two little ears of the receiver. There we go. Let me pull that apart again so I can show you. The two little ears on the lower, and that matches up with these two little pieces on the upper. There we go. So why this pistol? Why not a Ruger? Yes, the Ruger is more common, more popular, but well, I wanted something a little different, and just me being me. And this is so easy to take apart and service. Most Rugers, except for the new Mark IVs, are very, very notoriously difficult to put back together. But yeah, it baffles my mind as to why that took that long to fix from Ruger's perspective. But and also out there is the Browning Buckmark. Yes, it's an accurate pistol, but there's a few goofy things with its design, like the whole side of the slide is exposed, or of the bolt is exposed back here, and it's a little weird. This is kind of the features of both, the best features of both, and it's really just a nice, easy pistol for me to work with and to use, and it's pretty darn accurate. It's been a really good shooter for me. But if you'd like to pick something up like this up, check us out at pinnaclemountaingunsmithing.com. Make an appointment, and I can get one for my distributors. If you'd like yours serviced and set up like this, then that's certainly available, or something completely different. Okay, that's also available. We can make that happen. Let's see, here lately at the shop we have a few other projects, but I could take you through a few of them maybe in a separate video, but we'll see what we can do. In any case, this has been Joel Ellison, and that's been our video for today. Let me get it back with powder for a few final thoughts. Stand by. Hey, all right, folks, thanks for sticking with us. Yeah, here's some. Yeah, I wonder if y'all really subscribe to the channel just for seeing some little bitty kitty here. Yeah, she's a real brains of the operation. Got any final words for the folks, Powder? Yeah. Yeah. All right, folks. Well, thanks for sticking with us. We'll see you next time. Stay tuned for any announcements on the channel. We'll see you soon. Bye.